What's up YouTube? Chris at Rockford Ordnance. Today I'm bringing you a video on something I've been talking about for months now. This is our Aero Precision M5 builder's kit. So I originally purchased the builder's kit. They come in this box, and what it includes is the handguard, the upper receiver, and the lower receiver. And every month they come out, meaning Aero, they come out with a builder's kit that has a theme to it. One month it may be a camo pattern. They've done burnt bronze, acid etch, snow camo, you name it, they've done it. This one is kind of special. It's called E Pluribus Unum, like you see on the back of the $50 or other coins. And it just so happens that it has that eagle etched into the receiver here. If you look closely, you'll see a pattern of stars going up the handguard. Hopefully you can see that on there. And just really neat. The finish, when I first looked at this gun, depending on the light you're in, it's so hard to decipher what color it is. You look at the eagle and you think, wow, that's, you know, like FDE or something, flat dark earth. And then you look at the receiver and you say, well, it's black. Well, no, it's got brown in it. Well, it's OD green. You can't really pick it out. So I didn't know what kind of furniture would look good on it. You know, everybody suggested things from flat dark earth to just black to OD green and brown, on and on. So, you know, you go to a local shop where you can actually see some furniture and stuff, and maybe they don't stock, most places will just stock black or flat dark earth. None of it looked good, and I'm looking, and I finally came up with the OD green. Now, my thoughts of what would match were confirmed when I sent an email to Aero Precision and said, hey, I need to know what color Cerakote you use to do this paint job. Excuse me. Lo and behold, they don't do the Cerakote work on these. They send them out to a company and they do them all. They come up with the patterns and whatnot. They must work with Aero. Aero approves them each month. And so they put me in touch with that company, which was nice of them. I sent them an email. They got back to me quickly, and I had kind of guessed what was on it. I said black and OD green and flat dark earth, and they said, yep, you're right. Obviously they start out with a black receiver. They then put OD green over it, and then they kind of dusted it with the black. I thought this was an undercoat of flat dark earth, but it's actually the etching that brings that color out. So I was right, and this magpul OD green looks great on it. I think I'm going to have at least one of these magpul mags Cerakoted to match. Might even dust it in the black. Might even do the grip and the stock I'm going to show you. Just kind of dust it to just make it blend the hair better. It's really a neat rifle. I want you to see this pattern, so I'm going to bring it up close here so you can see it. Really cool, that E Pluribus Unum eagle. And if you can see the stars here going up the handguard, really, really cool. So this receiver is an M5 E1, similar to their M4 E1 receivers, in that it's not like a mil-spec receiver. And I guess no 308 platform ARs are really mil-spec. There's not really a standard for them, right? You've got your DPS platform and what do they call it, an AR-10 platform, and they're a little different. Some are not interchangeable, like the Armalite. So you have to know what you're buying when it comes to bolt carriers and stuff to make sure all your components are going to match. And Today they've standardized them a lot more than they were a few years ago, but it's still a good thing to be careful, and it's a good thing to check headspace on these when you're done. So I'm going to show you what components we've purchased and amassed for this project. It was kind of a slow build. These aren't as cheap as an AR-15 to build, so I kind of went slow and bought stuff when it was on sale, when I found it. I have kind of a set group of parts I use for my AR-15 builds, other than, you know, lengths or if I'm making a different variant or something. But for this rifle was kind of special, and I was careful at what I chose, and sometimes sales came into play, but I did not shortcut the build at all. And sometimes I said, you know what, I haven't tried that product yet on an AR-15, but I always kind of wanted to. They've got good reputations, and I said, we're going to try it on this one. So we're going to go through what we did here, and I'm not going to show you the build. You guys can find a lower parts kit install video all over the web, so not a big deal, but we're going to go through it and I'll show you what I did. I got a little anxious. I put the lower parts kit in. For the lower parts kit, we used just an Aero Precision, their M5 kit. Now that's important because there's a couple parts in the kit that are different than a typical AR-15 kit. Most parts out of an AR-15 kit will fit, no problem, but you got two things you got to watch out for. First of all, your pins. They are obviously longer because the receiver is wider, so you're going to need AR-10 pins. The other thing, the biggest thing, is the bolt catch. It's a little larger. You can, in some cases, I guess, use the AR-15, but the release for it, the pin that comes off the side of the release here is not long enough on a standard one. So that's a special piece, and it's beefed up a little bit by Aero. If you use a regular one, you can experience some breakage because there's a lot more slamming going on, a lot more weight behind the bolt carrier and all. So you definitely need those two pieces. Also with the M5 kit from Aero Precision, I believe it includes, I know on the M4E1 it includes an extra set screw for the back to hold in your detent, your actual detent and the spring. In this case it's a little different. You don't have it back here. You don't have that detent back here. Your detent is held in a little differently on these. For the detent on this pin, it's under the grip, similar to the safety. So you have two under the grip on these M5s. Other than that, pretty much standard kit, standard trigger from Aero. Not a bad trigger, just mil spec, you know, but not bad. We will be putting a Rise armament in here. I really like those. I put one in our DMR rifle. They're not expensive, about 140 bucks or so, 130 bucks if you catch them on sale, and a really nice trigger. I'm really liking them. I'm gonna get one for this. What else is different about these? Not much. It's, you know, like an M4E1, same thing. You don't have to worry about the roll pins. You've got the threaded set screws like the M4E1. It also has a rubber coated adjuster so you can take the play out of the receivers. This receiver is like the M4E1 enhanced version in that the handguard actually mounts to a huge boss that looks kind of like a barrel nut. It does not mount to a barrel nut. The barrel nut is internal. So when I take this apart to build it, I'll take a few shots and I'll throw them in right here, so you can kind of get the gist of it. Other than that, yeah, really, really cool, nice setup. So went with the Aero Precision lower parts kit. went with a Mo K-grip. I really like these K-grips. The angle is not set as far back, so it's nice for your wrist. Really nice texture on it, nice ribbing on the front and back, and it's thick. It fills my hand. I really like these grips. I'm using them on everything now. They make it in a rubber coated one too. I don't care for those as much. Just really nice. So that's enough time on that, huh? Let's jump into what we put on it. First of all, you've got your choice on mags. There's a bunch of stuff out there, but I figured who better to go with than Magpul. This happens to be their 25 round mag with a window. It also has a painted part of the spring there that shows you how many rounds are left in your mag. So we will see how these work out and go from there. But pretty solid part. Everybody seems to think they work just great. The Mo K2 grip that I talked about, that was that. Something special to match that grip and match the paint job. This is a Magpul UBR stock. It's kind of the top of the line stock when it comes to Magpul. It's expensive. They list for about $180. You can find them on sale a hair cheaper. But I really like the stock. I was debating on doing a precision rifle out of this, but I just got done doing the precision AR-15 build, and I kind of wanted a handy short carbine weapon, 16-inch barrel, that just a heavy hitter in a short handy package while still being accurate. So I went from wanting to use the Magpul stock, I forget what they call them, but it's their target stock, has all the adjustments, the cheek rest and all of that. And then I thought about a rifle stock because I just thought the look on there would be cool. And this kind of fit the bill perfect in between. I'll show you why. So in typical Magpul fashion, comes nicely packaged, comes with a really nice instruction manual because this is a little more complicated than the average stock you're going to throw on something. So here it is. It looks kind of like a rifle stock, right? And solid and all of that. It has a built-in buffer tube, comes with it. Now, this is kind of a special buffer tube. It's not a carbine buffer tube. It's not a rifle buffer tube. It is the exact length of an A5 buffer tube. And for a lot of you guys that are new to it, you probably have never heard of an A5 tube. Were introduced by one company, and I don't know how to pronounce it. It's VLATOR, Vlader, I don't know. They came out with the A5 tube, and it was an answer to a problem the Marine Corps was having. The Marine Corps wanted to switch their rifle configurations over to running a carbine upper when they wanted to switch over, but still have, you know, some of the soft shooting that rifle length stock and buffer system afford you. So that company came up with the A5. What it is it's 3/4 of an inch longer than a standard carbine buffer tube. It allows a different buffer that's 3/4 of an inch longer, different spring configuration, and they have different weights, you know, like an H1, H2, H3, same thing. But it changes not only kind of the recoil impulse of the rifle, but it softens it up in general. At least that's what most people say. So this comes with that tube. It also comes with your plate and your nut already, and that plate is set up for a QD point. We'll show you when I open this up, and it's kind of cool. So here's the adjustment lever. You push that backwards and the stock slides. So unlike most stocks where the whole stock slides back and you're left with the exposed buffer tube, this leaves it covered and the stock portion or butt plate portion slides back. What that does is a couple things. For those of you that have any facial hair whatsoever, how many times have you put that gun up and it yanks your beard hair out between the stock and the buffer tube? I hate that. You also may get a stock that shakes a little bit. Now, you know, Magpul offers the ones with the tensioning device that will take that slop out of it, but this acts like a rifle stock. It is solid. You have the same cheek weld every time because this part of it does not move. So although your length of pull changes, your cheek weld stays the same. Feels like a rifle stock, but yet you have the adjustability for length of pull on it. Really, really kind of cool. It also has some indents built in, so if you have it retracted, every time you open it, it will stop at the exact point that you set it at. I have not set this one up yet, so it can go to any position I want. And as you can see, it really affords you a lot of adjustability. A couple other cool things. There's a storage compartment here you can open up, store batteries, what have you. There's also an internal sling loop in there that you can use with the doors still left on. Now these doors can be taken off with these two screws, and then the center of the stock is open, so it gives you another look to the rifle, and you can use these internal sling points if you choose, with the doors on or off, although you have to cut out a little pre-marked portion here on the door. Comes with this nice butt pad. I told you the plate has a QD point here, so, and QD points here and here. Just a great stock. It's a little heavier than usual, but when I tell you solid, it's awesome. So let's talk about the M5 buffer tube. Normally on a 308 build, you would, most guys I guess, would use either a 308 carbine buffer or a 308 rifle buffer and the appropriate spring. In this case, you've got a couple options. It comes with a spacer, and there's a lot of misinformation. I don't think anybody meaning to do harm with it, just confusion. They read it and they hear carbine buffer. Well, carbine buffer is not just AR-15 buffer. There's carbine 308 buffer, and they're all different lengths. Then there's these A5 buffers. So you've got, you know, an AR-15 carbine buffer that's 3 1/4 inches. You have a, I'm going to confuse myself here, 308 carbine buffer that they call shorties. And those are, I'm going to say about a 1/2 inch shorter. I may be a little off, but they're shorter. They're about a 1/2 inch shorter. Then there's M5 buffers, which are 3/4 inch longer than a standard AR-15 carbine buffer. Now, the only buffer you can't use in this is a rifle length buffer of either one, an AR-15 or a 308. You cannot use it. Keep in mind, one important thing when you're figuring out the buffers here, the bolt carriers on a 308 are 3/4 inch longer than an AR-15 bolt carrier. So you have to consider that extra length that's going back into the stock, right? So I wanted to take advantage of this longer length of buffer tube. I could, because it comes with a spacer, I could use your standard 308 carbine buffer and spring, but I wanted to take advantage of the longer length. So what's a guy to do? You can't use the rifle length. Carbine length will just give you the same old, same old. So I wanted to go a little longer. So what you do is you use an AR-15 carbine buffer and a 308 rifle length spring. That fills out the buffer tube without having to use the spacer that comes with it. Be very careful with this, guys. If you set this up wrong and there's not enough room in here, and that bolt carrier comes back, you're going to damage it and possibly yourself. If you set it up with too short a system for the 308, you're going to mess things up too. So Just be careful. If you have any questions, ask them down here and I'll answer them. I promise I answer everyone. But so yeah, the standard AR-15 carbine length buffer and a 308 rifle spring is what we're going to use. Now, there's a company out there called Heavy Buffers. That's the name of it, heavybuffers.com. The gentleman that runs the site and the business, his name is Cliff. I told him what my setup was going to be, and I had read through his stuff. I kind of had an idea. He confirmed it, that yes, that's what I want to use. And get this one. You guys know what a standard H1 buffer is, or H buffer. You know, they start at about 3 ounces, and I think roughly your heaviest AR-15 buffer out there goes up to maybe 5.5, 5.6 ounces, somewhere in there. Well, this sucker is 8.5 ounces. Okay, so it's a heavy, heavy buffer. Solid stainless steel, tungsten weights in it, and I believe they are spring loaded as well in there. That's at least what I've heard. I have not confirmed it, but that's the one part I'm short on this build. I got them coming from Cliff. They are expensive. They're more expensive than the regular stuff. The buffer and spring are going to be about, I think the buffer's $125 and the spring's cheap. It's $12 or something like that. So by the time you're all done with shipping and handling, it's probably $140, $150, somewhere in there. So it is expensive. I have not ordered it yet, so I'm going to be excited to shoot this when we put it together. I am going to run a standard AR-15 buffer with a heavy spring right now, the heaviest buffer I got laying around here. And we're going to take a couple shots just to see how the thing runs and get the excitement out of my system till that gets here. So yeah, that's what this is about. It's going to hopefully, supposedly it's super, super soft shooting, very reliable with that heavy buffer, and everybody just raves about them. So that's what we're going to do. I wanted to make it better than the average build. This is such a solid piece, I can't say enough about it, guys. So we'll do a separate review on all of these parts, but I just wanted to give a quick rundown. We're going to use one of our favorites that I use on every rifle just about, and that's the K&S Precision pins, anti-rotational, and never have to worry about your pins popping out ever. Nice, nice product. We use them on everything. For a bolt carrier, I kicked around a lot of different bolt carriers. I use a lot of Aero Defense. We also use Fail Zeros, a few other things, but when it came to this build, 308, I didn't want to have to worry about headspace, and I know Aero is always spot on, and it's their receiver. I did want to, I should drop back, I wanted to use a faxon, actually, because we're using a faxon barrel, and I trust implicitly in them as well, but they were out of stock everywhere, and I found the Aero on sale for a good price. And they make 3 different versions, as you may know. Aero makes its bolt carriers in boron coated, phosphate, and the melanite, which this is. I have had fabulous luck with this coating. It's much smoother than a phosphate coating. I don't care for nickel boron. That's no shot against it. I have some rifles with it. I like the Fail Zeros when it comes to nickel boron. But I have had just great luck with this finish. It just holds up magnificently, cleans easier than anything out there. I don't have to worry about the nickel boron getting dull, having to clean it, polish it. I don't want to dick around with that kind of stuff. This literally, with the lube I use between Ballistol and the Lucas lube, they just wipe down. They don't hold the carbon like others. It's so smooth, it's like glass. Nice bolt carrier, well staked, super, super nice. Double O-rings, magnetic particle inspected, the whole 9 yards. This will be just a nice, nice bolt carrier. And something I don't have to worry about. I know it's going to work, always. So that's our bolt carrier. I guess from there, we'll show you the barrel. I have built lately, last couple of years, built every single AR with a faxon barrel, with the exception of a couple ballistic barrels, who are owned by Aero Precision, by the way. But these faxon barrels are just super, super nice. I did not go with their match grade barrel, which is available in this particular barrel. This is their gunner barrel, their gunner profile. 16-inch, super nice barrel, nitride coated, in and out. It's QPC, or QPQ rather, which is what you want to look at on a barrel like this. They do a real nice etching with their logo up here, and they put the stats up here. 308 Winchester, 1 in 10 twist. What else they got on here? The model number, and I'll tell you exactly what it is for you guys that want to know. 16-inch gunner, 308 mid-length gas system, 4150 QPQ nitride, 1 in 10 like we said. It's a nice combo without having to go to a heavy barrel. I wanted just kind of a mid-weight barrel, and it's just a nice profile. The extension is really nicely done. 11-degree crown on these, target crown. Really nice. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful barrels. I've used them on everything from my pistol builds to the DMR rifle. Just nice, nice stuff. And I can always trust them. Never had a headspace issue with any of them. They've just been fabulous. Now, for something new, something I wanted to try out that we have never tried out before, and it's interesting as hell. I really wanted to try out this muzzle brake. It's made by Faxon, and they call it, it's their 3-port muzzle lock muzzle brake. This happens to be for 308, 762, and 300 blackout. It will allow a bullet up to 310 to pass through. The cool thing about this muzzle brake is kind of a standard 3-port muzzle brake. Really nicely finished, by the way. Damn near looks like bluing. I was disappointed a little on the one side. There's a little discoloration. Almost looks like something was on the finish when they did it. It does not rub out with cleaner, with oil, with anything. So a little bit, most of you guys would never notice it. I'm just crazy like that. And I noticed it. It could be from being in the package, perhaps, but I would think that would buff or polish out, and it doesn't. But that being said, 3-port muzzle brake, got a little bit of heft to it. The cool thing is you don't have to use spacers with this. You don't have to use crush washers with this. This end here, it's knurled, if you can see. You unscrew it, it's reverse threaded, okay? So it can come off if you like, but this is the important part and what makes this thing cool. So reverse thread, similar like you guys with AK are used to. So you thread it all the way on, and you make sure it's tight up to the muzzle brake. You then put it on your barrel, spin it down, and you're going to time it. So as you can see, it's off a little. We would have to tighten it, I'm gonna say 15 degrees, maybe somewhere in there. But what if it, what if it timed half a turn off? You don't want to be cranking that hard on it. You don't want to be using shims, all that stuff. Shims look like crap, by the way, in there. You guys stack some of these things up. I see guys stack 3, 4, 5 shims. It's ridiculous. And they're usually chrome or stainless or whatever, and they stick out like a sore thumb, and they ruin your build. So here's straight. How are you going to time it? Real simple. you back off the muzzle brake about, let's see, you time the muzzle brake first, you back it off till it's timed where you want it. Then you go about another 40 degrees or so, okay? So right about there. Then you unscrew, let me get it here. I tightened it too far. There we go. You unscrew the ring, right? Until it backs down to the shoulder on the muzzle. And because you're unscrewing it, it takes up the space. So now you've got about 40 degrees left or so. That's when you tighten it down and it times itself. So essentially, this threaded collar is making up for any space you may have between the shoulder and the brake. And you could go way out. You don't want to. You want to go as little as possible. But that times it, allows you not to use any shims and or crush washers, and gives you a perfectly timed muzzle device without any hassle. Works great, stays solid. There's flats on here to tighten it down, and just works great. So really cool, really easy, no washers, and I can't wait to see how it performs. So faxon barrel, faxon muzzle brake. I probably would have liked to have had the faxon bolt carrier to complete it all, but Aero is usually my #1 choice, so hey, we're all good there. Gas block, mid-length gas system like we said. I would normally go with an SLR adjustable gas block, out of stock everywhere. Waited, couldn't find them, so I've used some other cheapy set screw style. I like the other ones because they have solid clicks. Well, this is a set screw style too, but it's the JP, kind of medium priced unit. So we're gonna try that out, see how it works. Gas tube I've got gas tubes laying around. Got a melanited Spikes Tactical that we're gonna throw on this. For the other part I'm still waiting on, it's coming any day, is the charging handle. Went with a Rise armament, got that on sale for I think 35 bucks, which was a pretty good deal. I've had good luck on them with others. I did have one come once where the hole in the front would not allow it to pass through or over the gas tube, or perhaps, yeah, I guess it was the gas tube. Sent it back, they sent me a new one. Kind of weird that it would come like that, but that was kind of an oddball. I've never had a problem with other ones. So got that coming. What kind of optics are we going to put on this? Well, I've got the primary arms. I think I've showed you guys in the optics video. It's their Gold Series 2x10 DMR scope with an ACSS reticle. The 2x10 is kind of cool. This gun, I want to go, you know, from CQB out to maybe, I don't know, 400 or 500 yards is what I'm thinking. So, not so sure what I'm going to do yet. We may go with like a 1x6. We may go with a 3-power prism scope, something like that. I don't know yet. We'll see. Maybe we'll set up a red dot for it too. Just haven't made that decision yet. So that is everything for this build. Sorry it was long and drawn out. I probably don't need to do reviews on all these components now after doing that. I'm sorry I keep you guys long. I'm long-winded, but hey, hopefully you like that in the video. Hopefully it's different than some of the short stuff you see on the other channels. So yeah, we started out with this builder set, I bet over a year ago, and we finally have everything put together and the time to do it. So we're going to do that. This has, on the one side, by the way, on the one side of the receiver, it has this "Don't Tread on Me" flag made out of the snake, and it's engraved in the receiver. Comes with in the box, came with this morale patch Don't tread on me. And if you look up on my sticker board there, don't tread on me sticker. So it's just something kind of cool. It's a little kind of a special deal they put out on certain units that Aero built of their receivers and their builder kits. These builder kits are cool. Comes with upper, lower, and the handguard and the barrel nut and all that. And it's one set. If you buy one of the special builder's kits, whatever pattern it is, most months, not all, but most months, you're going to have to get it right away and know you want this thing. You're going to have to know what the pattern is that month. Grab one from your dealer quick, and then have him also order a pistol grip and stock painted to match. They sell them match sets to match your particular themed gun. So you can get them. This they did not make one for, so this is as close a match as I can get. And I may, even when I have the mag done, I may have these sprayed. So it's gonna look awesome. I'm gonna put it together this evening, and we're gonna go out and at least test fire it until I get the optics and stuff, and go from there. Anyhow, that's about it. Hope all is well. Hope you're doing okay. Looks like the country's opening up. That's awesome. We need to get back to work. Good job on you guys in Michigan. Awesome to see you guys at the state capitol sticking up for our rights and fighting against a tyrannical leader. That's awesome to see. Anyhow, guys, please like, please subscribe, please click the bell down there. Check out our Patreon page, our Facebook, our Instagram, and as always, Rockford Ordnance out.